Courtney Zeller here with Good Medicine Holistic Healthcare in Seattle, Washington. Today is our second video in our patient education series. In the first video, you learned a little bit about how our organs and our tissues use pain and other symptoms as an indicator of something else going on inside of your body. All of your symptoms are like little check engine lights for your body to let you know that there's something wrong. And we want to address the actual malfunction. We don't want to just cover up those symptoms. So today I'm going to go through an example that we see in the clinic pretty regularly. So let me switch this here, make this a little bigger. All right, so the first example that I'm going to give for you today is neck pain. So when we have neck pains, we're looking at this area right here, the neck and upper back, which is pretty common. If you think about our lives today, you know, we're like this in our cars, we're looking down at our tablets, we're at our computers. All of these things put pressure on our nerves and our blood vessels back here in our neck and our upper back. So it can cause discomfort, it can cause pain, it can cause tension, and interfere with the circulation in that area. So all of the tissues that are downstream from that area are also going to be affected. It's what I call the weak links of your body. It's just where you're more susceptible to damage. And once damage occurs, it's actually harder for your body to correct that damage because it just doesn't have that circulation to be able to fix the problem. So the areas that become your weak links, like I said, are anything downstream from that area. So we're looking at your arm, your hands. It can go up into your head. So that's why when someone comes in complaining of neck or upper back pain, I tend to ask them questions about headaches, dizziness, problems with their eyes, problems with their jaw, shoulders, hands, things like pain, numbness, tingling, things like that. Of course, with treatment, we're going to be wanting to pay attention to these things as well to prevent further damage. So aside from the tissues that are like our extremities, it's also going to affect our organs. We're going to look over at this chart over here. So if we're looking at that same area, that upper back and neck area, you can see that there are nerves and blood vessels that innervate into our lungs, into our heart, into our stomach. Today, I'm just going to give the example with the heart because it's one of the things that I see most often, and most of you are probably going to relate to it at least at some point. So what does our heart do? Our heart pumps blood to the whole rest of our body, right? If we don't get enough circulation to our heart, it has a really hard time keeping up with the rest of the body. So the first symptom, that little check engine light that our body is going to give us, is some fatigue. We get a little tired, we slow down, we get tired more easily, things like that. When that happens and goes on for a while, then we can't keep up with the world around us, so we become more susceptible to stress. As stress gets worse and it continues, then we are more susceptible to starting to experience things like anxiety, or it can be other mood disorders like depression. Anxiety is probably what I see most commonly with this scenario going on. So we get anxious. When we're anxious, what happens? Well, it affects our sleep, so we get poor sleep. Now, I say poor sleep instead of saying insomnia because it's not necessarily trouble falling or staying asleep. It can be just not getting deep enough sleep to get that restoration that we need. So you may be getting a full 8 hours, but you're still tired. You're still dragging a little bit. It's because you're not getting that deep sleep. Or it could be insomnia. It could be trouble falling asleep or staying asleep or both. So what happens? We get more fatigue. So a problem that started out over here as neck, either pain or tension or injury, ends up reducing the function of our heart and then causing this subcycle of fatigue, stress, anxiety, and poor sleep. If that's allowed to continue for years and years and years, eventually it's going to actually become destructive to the heart. So in this scenario here, we're looking at those check engine lights. These are a sign of malfunction. It's not a structural change yet, but if this happens long enough, then it will become a structural problem where you actually get damage to the heart. And that happens by starting with an elevation in blood pressure, And after that happens for a while, it becomes cardiovascular disease. So this is kind of the sweet spot right here is where I work the best. It's where I'm able to help restore the circulation to the heart, improve that function, and really interrupt this cycle so that you don't ever have to get over here. Now, once you're over here, we can still unwind things and help prevent further damage, even heal some of the damage. But our biggest part is going to be to restore as much function as we can and prevent further damage. The main reason is, of course, we want to help you with what you came in from. We want to get rid of that neck and back pain, but we also want to make sure that you have more energy, less stress, you're getting better sleep, and we're long-term preventing cardiovascular issues. I also really like this example because it shows this interplay between the physiological and the psychological pathologies that we can experience. Oftentimes, stress and anxiety, depression, and other mood disorders actually have a physical source. But we live such stressful lives that when this physical pathology comes in, we're so quick to associate it to a stress because we're stressed out. And so sometimes it's unwinding both the physical and the psychological in order to get true healing. I actually have a talk coming up soon on anxiety. And if you're watching this after then, we'll put the link in the description so you can see my talk where I go a little bit further into this. But otherwise, that's it for today. I just wanted to give you an example of how, two symptoms like anxiety and neck pain might seem unrelated, but they do have a common root. And once we address that root, you get better. All right, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed my video, and we'll talk again soon. Thanks.